What's up? This is Michael Rapaport. Welcome. Welcome. Finally, I have a YouTube page. Yes, I know I am late to the party, but better late than never. Subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment. If you leave a comment, I will respond back. I don't care if it's good or bad. I want to know what you think. I'm happy to be on YouTube. Subscribe, leave a comment. Michael Rapaport on YouTube. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Boom. Yes. Have no fear, the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is here. Welcome to the Iron Dome of Disruption. Welcome to the ziggity, the what? The ziggity zone of disruption. My name is Michael Rapaport, a.k.a. the Gringo Mandingo, a.k.a. the Sultan of Sniff, a.k.a. the Inflamed Ashkenazi, a.k.a. the Raging Bullshitter, a.k.a. Mr. New York, a.k.a. Mr. 212, a.k.a. the Jewish Jake LaMotta, a.k.a. the Jewish Brad Pitt. You are now rocking with the very, very best. The I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast is in su casa. That's Spanish for in the house for my non-Spanish speaking friends. Feeling good. Feeling really good. I hope everybody out there is also feeling really good, feeling safe, feeling sane. We are, if you could believe it or not, we are heading towards the end of October. October is almost done, which will bring us to November, which is when people start saying happy holidays. Happy fucking holidays is upon us. 2022 will be in the past. And of course, at the end of the year, we'll start thinking about what this year means historically, what it meant to you, what it means to just everybody. But in the meantime, welcome to the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast. I'm feeling really good. Like I said last week, I had a little, because people were asking me, what happened to your finger? What happened to your hand? And I had a squamous, I had a squamous I went to the doctor and I asked the lady who stitched me up. I'm going to tell a great story here too. A squamous carcinoma. I said it right. A little precancerous thing in my hand that they had to cut out. So I got about 7 stitches in my hand there. No issues. Do not worry. People were saying, get well, Godspeed, you're praying for me. There's nothing to, they cut it out. They cut the fucking thing out. There's nothing to pray for me about. There's nothing to worry about. I'll take, if you want to pray for me in general, I'll take trust me, I could use all the praying you got, but you do not have to pray for my squamous carcinoma. Okay, it's out. It was a little thing. They cut it out. They sent it to the lab, and the precancerous stuff that was in there is gone. Okay, I said it before. I've had them a few times. I have another one on this hand. I had one on this hand. I had one on the side of my head. I had one on my lip. I had one on my chin. Some people tried to say I had some sort of some sexually transmitted disease. People accuse me of that. Talking about a person who's dealing with potential skin cancer. You want to make fucking jokes about that? But we're not going to go down that road. But I will tell you, I had to get my stitches restitched. And the reason why I had to get my stitches restitched, because after the last museum quality I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, which I announced my squamous carcinoma, I had a bigger bandage on here, and my hand was like numb because I had just gotten the procedure done. So they shoot your hand up, you can't really feel anything. And obviously, my wife, who she's always worried and concerned about all things pertaining to my health, and it's a laundry list of things. If it's not one thing, it's another thing. If it's not flat feet hurting, it's for some reason my calves are tightening up. If it's not that, it's being in the hospital for pneumonia. If it's not that, it's lungs. If it's not that, I'm shitting on the freeway. If it's not shitting in the freeway, I'm shitting in Central Park. It's just one thing after another. It's coughing, it's phlegming, it's mucus, it's a solid stool, it's a loose stool. It is just, I mean, if you're married, let alone if you know me, but if you're married to me and you're in the trenches and you have to deal with all that stuff, it's just one thing after another. I mean, I got, what am I doing? I'm doing an infusion tomorrow because I'm on something for the, it's just also, but I'm also doing great. I also planked for 5.5 minutes yesterday. Did you plank for 5.5? 5.5 minutes yesterday. 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Me. And even my wife said, holy shit. She watched me plank. She fucking watched. I mean, she wasn't like sitting there staring at me the whole time, but she was on the couch, like filing her nails and, and she was right there. I don't even need to videotape my planks anymore. It's just planking is a way of life for me. 5-minute planks for me. It's just, I do that. I fucking do that. I'm going to share a story with you before I share a story with you about this. One time about, I don't fact check, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, I was at the studio with Pharrell, my friend Loic, Frenchman Loic, Busta Rhymes, some studio in LA, some music. They had like a courtyard outside. It's like they're there. They have the whole, I don't know how it works when you're Pharrell. I don't know how it works. There's a courtyard, there's cheese, a charcuterie plate. It's Pharrell. We were in essentially a shitty part of Hollywood, but where this studio was and the courtyard, you thought you were in like, I don't know, south of France. That's what it feels. When you're around Pharrell, there's the decadence of you feel like you're in south of France. You could be in Brooklyn somewhere, in Fort Greene. But if you're with Pharrell, you feel like you're in the south of France. I don't remember why I was there. My friend Loic, Frenchman Loic, he said, come to the stew. They call it the stew. That's what they call it. That's hip hop shit. They say, come to the stew. And it's a 2-for-1 because it's stew for studio and then the stew where we're cooking things up. Anyway, so I go to the studio. I'm talking to Busta Rhymes. I think they were doing a song. I don't know. I don't fact check. This is a while ago. When you go to the stew as much as I do, these experiences, they all sort of meld and blend together. Somehow, some way, get into a conversation with Pharrell about working out, maybe Busta Rhymes about him working out. I don't know. And casually, while we're eating from a charcuterie plate at this stew in Hollywood, Pharrell says, P, that's what his friends call him. I'm talking about skateboard P, Pharrell, cause I'm happy, Neptune's that guy. He says he did a 10-minute plank. Pharrell says he did. And I was like, what the fuck? And Busta Rhymes was like, what the fuck? And I was like, 10 minutes? He goes, yeah, word, yo, I'm telling you, I did a 10-minute plank. I've done it a few times. I was like, 10 fucking minutes? And Busta Rhymes, who you could imagine, his expressions and his responses to things are so ginormous. He was like, son, how you do it? I tried to do that shit before. Planking, my shit was shaking and all. I don't do a great Busta Rhymes impression, but my shit was shaking and shit like that, God. And I'll never forget this conversation. And Pharrell will never forget telling me about it because I was so bugged out by hearing anyone, let alone Pharrell, who he goes, I was like, do you work out? He was like, nah. I was like, how the fuck do you do a 10-minute? Did you work up to doing a 10-minute plank? And I can't remember. It certainly wasn't like a big deal to him that he did a 10-minute plank. He knew it was impressive and he knew it was unusual. But because I think we were talking about why don't you age? Because I think Pharrell's like 74, 70, maybe 73 right now. And he literally is frozen. He looks 33 years old. Pharrell has stopped aging. That might have been how the conversation started. And we were talking about working out and he was talking about eating fried chicken. He's talking about how he doesn't work out and he eats like shit, but he could do a 10-minute plank. And I remember when I hear stories, there's been a few stories, some I can't repeat. Let me tell you something. I have some stories about rappers that I can never repeat. You'd have to waterboard me for me to share them. That's all I'm going to say. But I was just like so impressed. And, the next person that came in the room, I was like, yo, tell him that you did a 10-minute plank. Like I wanted verification. Like I wanted to trick him to see if he was lying. Like every time he told the story, and it's probably like 3 times I made him tell the story in like a 20-minute span. I wanted to see if he was differentiating because I wanted to catch him in a lie. And why would Skateboard P lie about doing a 10-minute plank? That being said, I did a 5.5-minute plank just yesterday. And the other day while I was recovering, my hand was in recovery from the carcinoma thing on my hand. It was about 7:30. We were watching NFL football, Thursday night football, which they should abolish, just like Warren Sapp said on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. Thursday night football, stop it. The games stink. The matchups stink. I know the NFL can't predict that. Who would have thought that you got like 1 touchdown in 2 weeks? Stop it. Maybe try Friday night football. Give them an extra night of rest. People are in the house. Try Friday night football or Saturday night football. Do something. Thursday night football is not it. It stinks. And shout out to Thursday night football for bringing in Marshawn Lynch, a.k.a. Beast Mode, because 3 weeks ago I was saying that pregame show sucks. And maybe you listen to the I Am Rapaport Stereo podcast, maybe you don't. But thank God they're bringing in Marshawn Lynch. The point being is, while we were watching the game, in bed, I had to go take a leak, okay? And I went to the kitchen, and I got myself some potato chips. And my wife, who's always looking out for my best interests, always, a good eater. She's definitely clamping down. She's in a diet phase now. She don't fuck around. See, when I diet phase, like if I diet, unless I'm starving myself on that starvation diet, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to cheat. And I was talking to my wife about cheating on diets, and she said that she cheated the other day, and she cheated into her diet app. I said, you cheated in your diet? I said, You're cheating to yourself because the diet app, of course, that's like an easy cheat, but who are you really cheating to? But when I say I'm not doing diet apps, I'm saying if I am on some sort of diet and I'm not like literally starving myself, I will cheat. I'm not dieting right now. The point is I went in there to get some potato chips and my wife could hear me ruffling around in the bag. She hears the bag. It's a very distinct noise. Hand in the potato chips. My wife gets up out of bed, nude, grabs the fucking bag, while my right hand, which I could barely feel because it just got stitched up and it's coming off the pain medication that they put in there, the stitching, whatever the fuck. She grabs the fucking bag and grabs right on my stitches. And the whole incident lasted about 3 seconds. It felt like time stopped. I couldn't speak. It was so fucking painful. I was like, and she's grabbing, she's like, get off the fucking things. Why are you eating the potato chips? We're intermittent fasting. Da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, my fucking hand. And I take my hand and she's like, oh my God, I forgot. And I go, you fucking ruined my fucking hand. And I go in the bathroom and sure enough, I take off the thing. The stitches are popped. My hand's fucking bleeding. I'm freaking out. She's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. But while she's saying, oh my God, I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. She takes the potato chips out of my hand. Like she didn't want me to cheat and have... I'm like, yo, you fucking ruined my hand. You broke my fucking hand. The stitches are popped. And she's like, no, they aren't. And I go, look. And she's like, bleeding. I have to call the doctor. It's like 8:30 now. I call the doctor. I go, yo, doc, the stitches, they came out. And she goes, what happened? I go, it's a long story, but I'll tell you about it tomorrow. Like, what do I do? Do I have to go to the emergency room? Like, is my hand going to get cut off? And the doctor said, just wrap it up. We could come in tomorrow. I had to get re-stitched. Anyway, for about 16 or 17 hours, my wife felt so bad. And it's so far and few between where my wife fucks up. And not only did she fuck up here, she almost had me, anything could happen. I could have had to get my fucking hand cut off. So I was like, can you make me this? Can you make me that? Can I get a cup of coffee? Babe, can you get me some? I'm milking this shit. She felt so fucking bad. Nonetheless, I got re-stitched and we're on the road to recovery, which doesn't need any praying. And you're probably saying to yourself, Mike Rapp, why were you 5-minute planking yesterday? And I say, because it's a way of life. But I had to do a short workout because I can't lift weights until probably 3 or 4 days because of the things on my hand. I can't hold the bar, and I like that heavy steel. I'm doing a core workout. But I was pre-game planking for day 2 at BravoCon. Now, people that don't fuck with reality TV and that don't fuck with Bravo like I do and don't fuck with the Real Housewives and don't fuck with Man Overboard, not Man Overboard, what's the sailing one? Below Deck. Don't stop listening. Don't stop listening here. Because I went to not one day. I went to two fucking days of BravoCon. Not one, 2 days at BravoCon. And I was there doing a panel one day and performing in a reading of an old Real Housewives of New York episode. They did a live reading. And let me tell you something. Somebody, and Andy Cohen's definitely one of them, somebody is making money hand over fist because it was packed at BravoCon. BravoCon was a packed house at the Jacob Javits Center. I don't know how many people were there, but it was thousands. Crazed. It was like the fucking Beatles were there. And everywhere you went, I was in Bravo Real Housewives heaven. They were like, you walk in the place and they're golf carting you to where you go because Javits Center is a big convention center. If you're not from New York, Jacob Javits Center is like the convention center in Manhattan. They're golf carting you to one room, to a green room, to the bath cart. And I went into the bathroom and I saw a Real House husband of New Jersey taking a piss right next to me. You walk out, you bump into Kyle Richards and Dorit from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills right outside the bathroom. And I'm like, I had never met Kyle Richards. I was like, oh, shit. Kyle Richards, who not only is a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills, she's starred in all the Halloween movies with Jamie Lee Curtis since she was a child. She's Kathy Hilton's sister. And I was bugging. And then you walk here and you see a Real Housewife of Dubai. Then there's another Real Housewife of Dubai. Then there's the captain from Below Deck. Then there's the other captain from Below Deck yachting. And I was just like, holy fucking shit. Like I was elated. And day 1, my wife didn't come with me. But I was there. There must have been, in this one room, there must have been 1,000 people. And they said, and the room held 3,500 people. There was only 1,000 people in that room. And they said the event earlier, there was 4,500 people. The fire marshal had to come. And I'm hearing screaming and yelling from fans like they were at a fucking Justin Bieber concert. Like people are going insane for Real Housewife husbands of Jersey. They're going nuts for people from all the shows. And I went home. I said, babe, you have to come with me tomorrow. And she said, I don't want to go. I said, let me tell you something. These people, these housewives, these Bravo people give you so much joy. And we have an opportunity. Must-watch TV in our home is only Bravo. You watch sports reluctantly. The only thing that we want, it's part of our relationship. The Real Housewives of New York, the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Real Housewives of Potomac, the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the Real Housewives of Miami, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, the Real Housewives of Orange County, and the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills have been part of our relationship for years. And you have a chance to see these stars in person. I am telling you that I had a fantastic day at BravoCon. I insist you come to BravoCon day 2. And she took that in for a minute and she said, fuck yeah, I'm in. And we went back the next day, and I'm telling you, the only thing that I could equate it to is being at the NBA All-Star Game. I've been at many, many NBA All-Star Games. And the Friday and Saturday before the All-Star Game, it's always at a convention center. And you'll be walking around the convention center, and you'll be like, oh, shit, there's Rick Mahorn. And then you get on an elevator and you're like, oh shit, Derek Rose, what the fuck, man? Yo, and like I'm a lot of times I'm with my kids and they're like, oh shit, Derek Rose. Or you're walking, you're in the bathroom. One time, me and my two sons, they must have been about 7 and 5. Me and my two sons they must have been about 7 and 5. Went into a urinal, and Amari Stoudemire, when he played for the Phoenix Suns, was in the bathroom. That's exactly what BravoCon was like. The place was packed with Bravo all-stars, Bravo celebrities from all over, from all the shows, and I was elated, and I was fanning out. And I told my wife, I said, when we go there, don't try to act cool. Don't try to act like we're better than them, because honestly, we're not better than them. This is our day to show them that they're either better than us and how much we appreciate them. We're not going to be too cool. If you saw Jennifer Aniston, like walking down the Jacob Javits Center, and you were a Friends fan, you lose your shit. I said, babe, there goes Kyle Richards we ran into her again. We saw Dolores from New Jersey. We saw Heather Gay from Salt Lake City. We saw Whitney Rose from Salt Lake City. We saw Erica Jane from The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, who's on fire right now. The much scrutinized Erica Jane, who we've met before, but when you see her in real life, you're like, holy shit. We saw Dr. Wendy. We saw their husbands. And we left after I did this panel with 7 housewives. And we literally were exhausted from the adrenaline, the excitement, and the pleasure that we got from meeting these people that give us and the world so much fucking joy. I was selfieing. I was that annoying fan that I talk about who comes up to me. I was interrupting them. They could be talking to their friend. They could be talking to someone. I'm that guy. I need the selfie. Hold on. No, I'm pulling people like I'm pulling Karen Huger, La Grande Dame. I interrupted Karen Huger. I made her take a selfie with me. And if you see the selfie with me and La Grande Dame, she didn't want to take the selfie with me. It was bad lighting. She had to go on a panel. I saw the Green-Eyed Bandits from Potomac. I saw Candace from Potomac. It was a fantastic, fantastic experience. And people were like, why would you go to that? And I say to them, why wouldn't you go to that, you fuck? You watch the shows? You watch the shows, yet you're too good to go to BravoCon? You DVR the shows, yet you're too good to go to BravoCon? So you think you're better than what you're watching. You got it fucked up. That's called Real Housewives. That's called reality TV shame. You're ashamed of being a reality TV fan, a reality TV watcher. You're ashamed of what you're watching. If you saw Lamar Jackson at the Jacob Javits Center, you'd freak the fuck out because you fuck with Lamar Jackson. Well, God damn it, if you see a Real Housewife of Potomac, you better treat them the same way because they're giving me the same joy. It's the same fucking thing. And I want to treat them with the respect that I treat Steph Curry with. I treat Erica Jane with the same respect that I treat Shaquille O'Neal with. Okay? I treat Derek Kemsley with the same fucking respect I treat Steve Nash with when I met him. And I'll tell you one thing. Not one of them was rude to me. They were all nice. They were all sweet. Even the ones who I pulled away and I was rude while they were taking the selfies. And at all my All-Star games, just to put a pin in this, at all my All-Star games, and I met them all. Dr. J, Magic Johnson, the late, great Moses Malone, Amari Stoudemire, fucking Chris Mullen, Mitch Richmond, Tim Hardaway, all of them, Bill Russell. The only fucking person, the only one, Carmelo Anthony, Jeremy Lin at the height of Linsanity, Dwight Howard, Nate Robinson, Dominique Wilkins, Dirk Nowitzki, Paul Pierce. The only motherfucker who was ever rude, not just to me, but to my kids when they were young, when they were babies, is that fuck LeBron James. You fuck you. You fuck you. You fuck you. Yo, what do you think of that? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Am I crazy? Is he crazy? What did you think of that rant? Subscribe, leave a comment. Like I said, I'll respond back, good, bad, or indifference, but let me know what you thought.